All right, today we are tackling something that can make pretty much anyone's head spin. Legal documents. We're going to give you a map, a kind of user's guide to figure out the structure of any contract that comes your way. So let's dive in.
You know the feeling, right? Someone hands you this document, it's like 100 pages long, and it's filled with language that honestly feels like it was designed to confuse you. It is so easy to feel intimidated, maybe even a little lost, when you're staring down that wall of text.
But here's the secret. These documents aren't just a random jumble of complicated words. They actually have a structure, a predictable anatomy. And once you learn that structure, you've basically got the key to understanding the whole thing.
So to start, let's kind of zoom out and look at the big picture. When we talk about creating legal documents, it all really boils down to two main ideas.
First, you've got this really broad category called drafting. This is the whole shebang. It's the skill of putting together any legal document, from contracts to wills to even laws. You could say it's the art of mixing law and facts together into a written form.
Now, inside that giant field of drafting, there's a specialty called conveyancing. And this is all about one thing: drafting the paperwork to transfer property, whether it's a house or a car, from one person to another. We're talking sales, leases, gifts, you name it.
So here's the most important thing to get. Conveyancing is just a type of drafting. If drafting is the entire universe of creating legal documents, then conveyancing is just one specific, really important galaxy inside it that's all about property.
Okay, now for the main event. Let's imagine we're putting on our lab coats, because we are about to dissect a typical legal document, a deed, to understand all its basic parts. And trust me, once you see this structure, you'll start seeing it everywhere.
Every good story needs a clear beginning, right? Well, a legal document is no different. The very first part is all about setting the scene and introducing the main players.
So this first section covers the absolute basics. You've got the title, like this deed of sale, which tells you exactly what you're reading. The date is super important, not just for the record, but for legal deadlines. And the description of the parties, it has to be crystal clear, so there's zero confusion about who exactly is making this deal.
Next up, the document gives you the history. This section explains the context, the why behind the agreement that's being made.
Ah, yes, the famous whereas clause. Don't let it scare you. The recitals are just a short story of what's been happening up to this point. They explain why the document exists, and they set the stage for the main event. Think of it like the previously on segment before your favorite TV show starts.
So we've had the intro, we've had the backstory, and now it is time for the action. This is the absolute core of the document, where the main event actually happens.
This right here is the heart of the matter. The operative clause has all the specific legally binding words that make the transaction happen. It's also where you'll find the consideration, which is just a fancy word for the price being paid. This is the clause that turns the whole story into a legal reality.
So, the main action has taken place, but what are the rules moving forward? What has everybody agreed to do or not do from this point on?
This is where the promises or covenants live. These are the legally binding agreements that lay out all the rules. Think of them as pledges, promises that certain things are true or that specific actions will be taken. And they have teeth. If a covenant is broken, it can lead to legal action. This is the official rulebook for the agreement.
Okay, so we get the structure. But the structure is only half the story. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. And the real secret to a good legal document isn't complexity, it's clarity.
The source material points to these classic rules from H.W. Fowler. And what's the big takeaway? Be direct. Be simple. Don't use a long, complicated word when a short, simple one works just fine. The goal is to be understood, not to sound impressive.
And this quote just nails the whole point. A good writer, according to Fowler, is vigorous and lucid. It's all about clear communication that leaves absolutely no room for doubt or confusion.
So let's make this super practical. The goal is to be direct, not confusing. That means writing shorter sentences, because they're just easier to understand. Use the active voice. The seller transfers the property. It's so much clearer than the passive. And be precise. A vague phrase like less than can be argued over, but not exceeding is concrete. It's all about getting rid of any wiggle room.
Okay, so we've got the structure down, and we're using clear language. We've got a solid draft. But that draft isn't legally binding just yet. There are a few final, really important steps to make it official. This is the finish line. First, the final draft is engrossed. Basically, it's formally written onto official stamp paper.
Then the stamp duty, which is a kind of tax, gets paid. And finally, the parties sign on the dotted line with witnesses who formally confirm the signatures. This is the moment the document legally comes to life.
And that's pretty much it. You've now seen the hidden skeleton inside the body of a legal document. It's not so scary when you know what to look for, is it?
So, the big takeaway here is that legal documents follow a pattern. You now know the main parts to look for, from the backstory in the recitals to the rulebook in the covenants. Just remember that good legal writing is clear writing, and knowing this structure is the first step to actually understanding your own rights and obligations.
So I'll leave you with this thought. Now that you're armed with this map, the next time a dense contract lands in front of you, what's the first section you're going to flip to so you can start making sense of it all?